In this video, we're going to look at rational numbers, irrational numbers, and real numbers. We're going to start with rational numbers, which are the types of numbers you have been using up until now. In fact, you started learning more about rational numbers last year in 7th grade when you were introduced to positive and negative numbers. The smallest category are counting or natural numbers. Those are the numbers that we use to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those were the first numbers that were ever created. Then we had to come up with a number that represented nothing. So 0 was added, and these are called the whole numbers. The whole numbers include 0, and then all your counting numbers. The next largest category are integers. Integers contain your counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Their opposites, -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on, and 0. The largest category are rational numbers. A rational number is a number that can be written in the form of a common fraction or ratio. It also can be written on the number line. So we have 1/4 for an example, 1/2, decimals, 0, -3/4, even repeating decimals. These are all numbers that can be written in the form of a fraction, and if they're in the form of a fraction, we can find them on the number line. When we think about how the rational numbers are all interrelated, we think of this nested Venn diagram, where we start with the counting numbers, which is the smallest group. We move up to the whole numbers, which includes the counting numbers plus 0. And then we get to integers, which includes whole numbers and counting numbers plus the opposites of the counting numbers. And then rational numbers includes counting numbers, whole numbers, integers, and then fractions and decimals. Okay, let's look at some examples of rational numbers. We're going to classify each of these numbers in as many ways as possible. And I'm going to use just the first initial for each category just to speed things up. Our first example is -4. -4 belongs in the category of integer, and it is also rational. 2.5 is a fraction, or you could also write it as a decimal, so this is rational. 3 belongs in many categories. 3 is a counting number, it's a whole number, it's an integer, and it's also rational. 75/100 is a decimal, so it only belongs in one category, and that's rational. -7/8 is a fraction, and it also only belongs in one category, which is rational. 0 is unique. It's the only number that is in 3 categories, and that is whole, integer, and rational. And for the last one, 0.333, that's a repeating decimal that represents the fraction 1/3. That means this one is also rational. All right, let's look now at an irrational number. These are new to you. An irrational number is a number that cannot be written in the form of a common fraction or ratio. And we have been looking at square and cube roots. We've been using perfect square and cube roots, but there are a lot of square and cube roots that are not perfect, and they are irrational. So perfect squares and perfect cube roots, those are rational numbers. Anything else that is not perfect is irrational. So I'm going to star this because this is very important in the definition of an irrational number. And finally, the decimal form of an irrational number neither terminates nor repeats. That means it cannot be located on the number line. And again, this is important in the definition of an irrational number. So here are some examples. Pi. Pi, we know, does not terminate and it does not repeat, at least not yet. The square root of 5. The square root of 5 is not a perfect square. So this is going to not be found on the number line. And the decimal form is not going to terminate and it's not going to repeat. Same thing with the square root of 7. 7 is a prime number, not a perfect square. It's not going to terminate and it's not going to repeat. And we know the cube root of 21. 21 is not a perfect cube. That is not going to terminate or repeat. And when you have something like this type of decimal shows you there is no repeating portion of this decimal. So this one is also going to be an irrational number. Now that we have two categories of numbers, we have rational numbers, which are the ones we've been working with, and irrational numbers that we've just been introduced to. These two are independent of each other, so they need to belong to a much larger category called real numbers. So real numbers are rational numbers and irrational numbers. And although we're not going to talk about them this year, let's just think ahead to high school. If we have this group called real numbers, there's got to be another group of numbers over here that represents other types of numbers. So if you think about the word real, the opposite of real would be imaginary. And like I said, you're not going to run into those until you get into high school. What we're going to focus on this year is looking at learning what irrational numbers are and how to work with them. Okay, let's look at some examples. And we're going to classify these real numbers in as many categories as we can. So in this first example, I have a decimal. It has a pattern to it, but it's not repeating. If it was repeating, there would be a vinculum on the top of some of these or all of these numbers, and there is none. Because it is not a repeating decimal, this one is irrational. Negative square root of 196. Well, I know right off the bat, 196 is a perfect square. It is 14 times 14. So it's really the square root of 14 times 14. And if I take the square root of 196, I'm going to get 14, and I'm going to add the negative that's in the front of it. And now as I classify this, I know negative 14 is an integer. It's also rational. And now the next category is it belongs in the real numbers. Oh, and doesn't that mean this first one is also a real number? All right, let's look at the cube root of 2. I know 2 is not a perfect cube. Because it's not perfect, this one can only be irrational. And it's also a real number as well.